Los Angeles, 1969, CBS Television City, Friday night. Steve McQueen is in the building. The parking lot is full of black cars and studio executives. Security at every door, credentials checked twice. Nobody gets in without a name on the list. The green room is small but private, reserved only for McQueen and his people. He isn't performing tonight. He's watching his friend Bruce Lee, who just finished a live martial arts demonstration for an upcoming variety show. The audience loved it. The producers did too. But not everyone in the room is impressed. Steve McQueen is 39 years old, the highest paid movie star in the world. Bullitt made him a legend. The Thomas Crown Affair made him an icon. He doesn't go anywhere without security. Not because he's afraid, because the insurance demands it. And because in Hollywood, reputation is everything. The head of his personal security is a man named Ron Chapski. Nobody calls him Ron. They call him the Mountain. 6'5", 350 pounds. Former wrestler from Detroit. Tried pro boxing in the early 60s. Too slow for the ring, but brutal in close quarters. Found his calling bouncing at mob-run clubs in Chicago. Moved to Los Angeles in 66. Been with McQueen ever since. Ron believes in one thing: mass wins. Speed is a trick. Technique is for tournaments. In the real world, the bigger man always wins. He has never lost a fight, never been knocked down, and never seen anyone who could even make him nervous. Until today. Bruce Lee is in the corner of the green room, a towel around his neck, talking quietly with a producer. He weighs 135 pounds. Ron saw the demonstration. Flashy, theatrical, impressive for television, but not real, not street. Ron has handled guys who thought they could fight. They all end up the same. He watches Bruce laugh at something the producer said. Small, relaxed, oblivious. Ron makes a decision. The producer leaves. Bruce is alone now, rolling his neck, loosening his shoulders. The demonstration took something out of him. Not much, but enough to feel it. He reaches for a glass of water on the counter. Ron moves. He doesn't introduce himself, doesn't ask permission. He crosses the room in 4 heavy strides, plants himself between Bruce and the door, and speaks loud enough for everyone to hear. That was a nice little show out there. Bruce turns, calm, the glass still in his hand. He looks at Ron the way a man looks at something he needs to acknowledge, not something to fear. Thank you? It looked real pretty, all those kicks and punches. The crowd ate it up. Steve McQueen straightens against the wall. He knows that tone. He's heard Ron use it before, usually right before someone ends up on the floor. Ron, McQueen says, a warning. Ron ignores him. But I was thinking, Ron continues, steps closer. All that stuff, it works on TV, works in movies. But what happens when somebody doesn't stand still? What happens when somebody hits back? The room goes quiet. The makeup assistant freezes at the mirror. The sound tech pretends to adjust equipment by the door, but doesn't move. Everyone feels it. The air has changed. Bruce sets the glass down slowly, deliberately. His expression doesn't change. Not anger, not fear, just calm. You have a question, Bruce says. Ask it. Ron smiles the smile of a man who thinks he's already won. I'm saying maybe we find out. Right here, no cameras, no choreography, just you and me. Steve McQueen pushes off the wall. Ron, that's enough. Step off. But Ron doesn't step off. He's committed now. Weeks of watching McQueen praise this little man. Weeks of hearing about his incredible speed and improbable power. Ron is tired of it. He wants to prove something. To McQueen. To himself. To everyone in this room. He moves closer. Close enough now that Bruce has to look up to meet his eyes. 350 pounds towering over 135. The math seems obvious. What do you say, little dragon? Want to show me what you got? Bruce doesn't retreat, doesn't flinch. He tilts his head slightly like he's considering something interesting but ultimately unimportant. Are you sure? Ron laughs, a short, brutal sound. Never been more sure of anything. What happens next, every witness describes differently. The makeup assistant will say later that she never even saw Bruce move. The sound tech claims he blinked and missed the whole thing. Steve McQueen, in private conversations years later, describes it with only 4 words. It wasn't a fight. Bruce shifts his weight, a small movement, almost nothing. Left foot slides an inch to the side, shoulders drop slightly. His hands stay open, relaxed, hanging at his sides. Ron recognizes a fighting stance when he sees one. He's seen hundreds. This one doesn't look like one. Bruce looks like a man waiting for a bus. That's the first mistake. Ron throws the first punch, a right hook, the same punch that finished bar fights in Chicago. the same punch that dropped a 280-pound gambler in Atlantic City, fast for a man his size. Brutal, aimed straight at Bruce's jaw. It hits nothing. Bruce isn't there. He didn't jump back, didn't duck, just rotated a quarter turn, a slight angle. Ron's fist passes through empty space where Bruce was a moment before. Before Ron can reset, before he can pull his arm back, he feels something. Pressure on his wrist, not a grab. Lighter than that. Fingertips, just the fingertips. Then the world tilts. Ron doesn't understand what's happening. His body is moving in a direction he didn't choose. Balance gone, feet tangling. The ceiling spins above him. He lands hard. 350 pounds hitting the green room floor. The impact rattles the makeup mirror. Bottles clink together. Someone sucks in air. Ron tries to get up. Instinct, rage. He's been knocked down before. You get up, you always get up. He makes it to one knee before he feels it. A foot placed delicately on his chest. Not pushing, just resting. He looks up. Bruce Lee stands over him, calm, unruffled, not even breathing hard. His face carries no triumph, no mockery, only patience, like a teacher waiting for a student to understand the lesson. "Stay down," Bruce says, quiet, almost kind. Ron doesn't listen. He never listens. It made him useful in Chicago. It made him valuable to McQueen. When Ron decides something, he does it. Pain doesn't stop him. Shame doesn't stop him. Nothing stops him. He grabs Bruce's ankle. His massive hand wraps around the small joint. He's going to pull, twist. Bring this little man down to the floor, where size matters, where weight wins, where Ron has never lost. Bruce doesn't resist the grip, doesn't pull away. He does something Ron will never fully understand. He sinks. Not falls. Sinks. Controlled, deliberate. His entire body drops like water, finding its level in the same motion. One continuous, unbroken movement. His free leg swings. His heel catches Ron directly under the chin. Not hard enough to break bone, just hard enough to turn the world white. Ron's grip releases. His arm drops. His head hits the floor again. This time, he doesn't try to get up. He can't. His body has stopped taking orders from his brain. The room is silent. Steve McQueen hasn't moved from the wall. Arms still crossed, but his face has changed. He's seen stunt coordinators work. He's watched professional fighters train. He's seen men who called themselves the best in the world. He has never seen anything like this. Bruce steps back, gives Ron space. No aggression in his posture, no lingering threat. The fight, if it can be called that, is over. It lasted less than 10 seconds. "Someone should get him water," Bruce says. "He'll be dizzy when he wakes up." The makeup assistant moves first, grabs a bottle from the counter. Her hands are shaking. She doesn't approach Ron. Sets the water on the floor beside him and retreats. Ron's eyes blink. He's conscious, barely. Staring at the ceiling, trying to understand what happened. His mind keeps replaying the moment, the grip, the sink, the heel. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. A 135-pound man put him on the ground twice in under 10 seconds. Not with a lucky punch, not with a weapon, something else. Something Ron doesn't have a name for. He lights a cigarette. His hands are still shaking. 3 days later, Steve McQueen has lunch with director John Sturgis at Musso and Frank Grill in Hollywood. They're discussing a new project. McQueen is distracted, stirring his drink without drinking. "You're somewhere else today," Sturgis says. McQueen sets down his glass, looks at the director with an expression Sturgis has never seen on him. Uncertainty. "Did you ever see something that changed how you think about everything?" Sturgis laughs. "I'm a filmmaker. I see things that change me every day." "Not like this." McQueen leans back. "I watched Bruce Lee put my bodyguard on the floor Friday night. Ron, you met Ron, the big guy, played football or something, boxer, heavyweight, 350 of pure mean." Sturgis raises an eyebrow. "And Lee put him down twice in maybe 8 seconds. Total." McQueen shakes his head. "That's the thing, John. Bruce wasn't even trying. I've known him for years, trained with him, watched him work. I thought I understood what he could do. I didn't understand anything." Sturgis is quiet for a moment. He's heard stories about Bruce Lee. Everyone in Hollywood has. Speed, power, philosophy. Most people assume it's hype, marketing, the kind of myth-making that surrounds anyone who might become a star. "What did it look like?" Sturgis asks. McQueen takes a long time before answering. It looked like Ron was moving through water, and Bruce was moving through air. The story spreads, not in newspapers, not in magazines. Those stories don't make the press, but they travel other channels, whispered conversations on film sets, quiet exchanges in martial arts schools, late-night discussions between stuntmen who worked with both men. Within a month, the incident at CBS Television City has become legend. Details change with each telling. Some versions say Ron threw 5 punches, others say 10. Some claim Bruce knocked him out. Others say he just stopped him with one finger. The truth gets buried under layers of embellishment, but the core remains the same. A big man challenged Bruce Lee. The big man lost, badly. James Coburn hears about it at a party in Malibu. He's been training with Bruce for 3 years, working on coordination, reflexes, understanding combat. Coburn calls Bruce the next morning. Heard about McQueen's Bodyguard. Silence on the line. You there? Coburn asks. I'm here. Is it true? Bruce sighs, the sound of a man tired of a question he's already answered too many times. Something happened. It wasn't important. Steve says 8 seconds. Steve exaggerates. Does he? Another pause. Coburn hears Linda in the background, asking Bruce if he wants tea. Domestic normalcy seems strange in the context of the conversation. The man needed to learn something, Bruce finally says. He learned it, that's all. Coburn knows better than to press. Bruce never boasts about such encounters, never seeks them out. They find him. They always find him, the price of being who he is. You still coming Thursday? Coburn asks. We were supposed to work on the sidekick Thursday. Yes, 3 o'clock. The call ends. Ron Chapski quits working for Steve McQueen 2 weeks after the incident. No explanation, no notice, just a phone call to McQueen's assistant that he's done. McQueen isn't surprised. He hires a new head of security, a former Marine named Patterson, smaller than Ron, faster, more flexible. McQueen learns something too, not just about fighting. About what makes a man effective. Size is a tool, one tool among many. Ron disappears from the Hollywood security circuit. Some say he went back to Detroit, others that he opened a gym in Arizona. The truth is simpler and sadder. Ron Chapski spends 6 months trying to understand what happened to him in that green room. He visits martial arts schools, watches classes, asks questions. Most instructors have never heard of Bruce Lee. Those who have speak of him in whispers, like he wasn't quite real. Ron takes a judo class in Burbank, a karate school in Pasadena, a boxing gym in East LA. Watches men train, watches them fight. None of them move like Bruce Lee moved. None of them even come close. One night, late in 1969, Ron finds himself at a small martial arts studio in Chinatown. The sign outside is in Chinese. He doesn't know what it says, doesn't care. He heard a rumor the instructor trained in Hong Kong that he knew things Western fighters didn't. The class is small, 8 students, all Chinese. They stop and stare when Ron walks in, a giant white man in a neighborhood where giant white men don't belong. The instructor is old, maybe 60. Maybe 70, hard to tell. He's half Ron's size, a quarter his weight. He looks at Ron with calm, curious eyes. You want to learn? Ron nods. Why? The question hangs in the air. Ron has thought about this moment for weeks. How to explain, what to say. The words come out broken, honest. Because someone showed me I don't know anything. The old instructor smiles, a small, knowing smile. Good. This is where learning begins. Ron Chapski trains at that studio for the next 2 years. He never becomes fast, never becomes graceful. His body is too big, too conditioned for force over precision. But he learns something else, something more important. He learns humility. Steve McQueen and Bruce Lee remain close. Their friendship deepens through 1970 and into 1971. They talk about film, about philosophy, about the nature of strength and weakness. McQueen visits Bruce's school in Los Angeles, watches him teach, watches him move. He never forgets what he saw in that green room. Years later, after Bruce's death, McQueen will be asked about him in interviews. He always says the same thing. Bruce was real, not Hollywood real. Real, real, real. I watched him do things that shouldn't have been possible, and he made them look easy. Interviewers always ask for details. McQueen never gives them. Some stories aren't for public consumption. Some moments belong only to the people who witnessed them, but privately, with close friends, with men he trusts. McQueen tells the story, the green room, the challenge. 8 seconds that changed how he understood combat. Ron was the toughest man I ever knew, McQueen would say. The toughest man in any room he walked into. And Bruce made him look like a child fighting his father. Not because Bruce was cruel, he wasn't. He was almost gentle about it. That's what made it frightening. He could have done anything, and he chose just to teach. The incident at CBS Television City never enters the official record. No police report, no press coverage, no documentation. It exists only in memory, in whispered conversations, in the private mythology of the men who were there. But it matters. It matters because it represents something true about Bruce Lee, something all the films and demonstrations and interviews never fully captured. Bruce Lee wasn't performing. The speed was real. The power was real. The understanding of combat, deep, intuitive, beyond technique, was real. When challenged, he responded not with ego, but with effectiveness. This is what separated him from every other martial artist of his era. Not just the physical ability, the philosophy embodied, ideas turned into action. He believed fighting should be like water, formless, yielding, taking the shape of whatever container it meets. When Ron Chapski grabbed his ankle, Bruce didn't resist. He flowed, adapted, became what the moment required. Ron grabbed water and drowned in it. In 1971, Bruce Lee returns to Hong Kong. The Big Boss makes him a star. Fist of Fury makes him a legend. Enter the Dragon will make him immortal, but he never stops teaching, never stops demonstrating, never stops trying to explain what he understands about combat and life. Students come from everywhere. They want to learn his techniques, his kicks, his punches, the famous 1-inch punch, the side kick that sends men flying through the air. Bruce teaches them patiently, precisely, but he always tells them the same thing. Technique is the beginning, not the end. You must go beyond technique, beyond style, beyond system. You must become water. Most students nod. They think they understand. They don't. Understanding comes only through experience, through failure, through those moments when everything you believed is shattered by reality. Ron Chapski understood. In that green room, in those 8 seconds, he learned more about martial arts than most men learn in a lifetime. The old instructor in Chinatown is named Master Wong. He never asks Ron about his past. Never asks why a 350-pound white man walks into his studio wanting to learn. He just teaches, day after day, week after week, month after month. Ron's body resists, decades of conditioning, muscles built for force, not flow, joints stiffened by years of brute power. Learning a new movement at 40 is like learning a new language with a mouthful of stones. But Ron persists, comes early, stays late, watches the other students, studies their movements, asks questions that reveal how little he knows. One evening after class, Master Wong invites Ron to stay for tea. They sit in the small room behind the training hall. Incense burns. A single lamp casts yellow light on the walls. "You are different now," Master Wong says. "From when you first came." Ron nods. He doesn't know what to say. "When you walked through my door, you carried something heavy. Not your body, something else. Perhaps shame, or anger. I could not tell which." Ron looks at his tea. "Both," he says quietly. "Both." Master Wong nods. No judgment, just acknowledgement. "A man came to me once, long ago in Hong Kong. He was young, very young, but he moved like no one I had ever seen. Fast, precise, as if his body understood things his mind had not yet learned." Ron looks up. "His name was Lee Junfan. You know him as Bruce Lee?" The cup trembles in Ron's hand. "You trained Bruce Lee?" Master Wong smiles, a distant smile full of memory. "No one trained Bruce Lee, not truly. He came, he watched, he asked questions. He took what was useful, rejected what was not. That was his way. He did not follow systems. He absorbed them, digested them, made them his own." Ron is silent. The coincidence seems too large to be accidental, as if the universe is making a point, something Ron isn't smart enough to understand. "Why are you telling me this?" Master Wong sets down his cup. "Because you once asked why I accepted you as a student, a stranger, an outsider, someone who did not belong in my school. I remember. I accepted you because I saw something familiar. The same thing I saw in young Bruce Lee when he first appeared at my door in Hong Kong." Ron almost laughs. The comparison is absurd. He is nothing like Bruce Lee. Nothing. "What could you have seen in me that reminded you of him?" Master Wong's eyes are steady, calm, infinite. "Hunger, not for victory, not for power, hunger for truth. Bruce had it. You have it. It is rare. Most men want to win. Few want to understand." Ron feels something shift in his chest, a knot loosening, a weight he's carried for 2 years beginning to lift. "I met him," Ron says. The words come out before he can stop them. "Bruce Lee. I met him. Master Wong waits. I challenged him. I thought I could beat him. I thought size mattered. I thought strength mattered. Ron's voice breaks. He put me on the ground twice in 8 seconds. I never even touched him. The room is silent. Incense smoke curls toward the ceiling. And this is why you are here, Master Wong says. Not a question, a statement. Yes. Good. Master Wong refills Ron's tea. Bruce gave you a gift that night, the gift of emptiness. He emptied your cup. Now you can fill it with something real. Ron leaves the tea house that night with something he hasn't felt in years. Peace. Not the peace of victory. Not the peace of understanding. Something simpler. The peace of acceptance. He will never be Bruce Lee. He will never move like water. His body is too old, too big, too conditioned for force. But he can learn. He can grow. He can become better than he was. That is enough. He continues training with Master Wong for the next 18 months, 3 times a week, sometimes 4. His technique improves. His awareness sharpens. He learns to see attacks before they happen, to feel intention behind movement, to understand that combat is conversation, not monologue. He never becomes great, but he becomes good, better than he was, different than he was, and he never challenges another man again. July 20th, 1973. Ron is at the studio in Chinatown when he hears the news. Another student bursts in, out of breath, face pale. Bruce Lee is dead. The words don't make sense. Ron makes him repeat them. He does. Still don't make sense. Bruce Lee dead. 32 years old. Ron sits down on the training floor, doesn't move for an hour. Master Wong finds him there, staring at nothing, hands flat on the wooden boards. You heard, Master Wong says. Ron nods. Master Wong sits beside him. 2 men, silent, mourning someone they knew in different ways, in different times, in different worlds. He burned too bright, Master Wong finally says. Some flames are not meant to last. They exist to illuminate, to show others what is possible. Then they are gone. Ron thinks about the green room, the speed, the calm, the absolute certainty in Bruce's eyes. He thinks about what it felt like to be helpless, to be emptied, to have everything he believed proven wrong in 8 seconds. He changed my life, Ron says. He never knew it. He never knew, but he changed everything. Master Wong looks at Ron. Men like Bruce always know. They see the effect they have on others. It is part of their gift, part of their burden. Master Wong places his hand on Ron's shoulder. You honored him by coming here, by learning, by changing. That is the only tribute that matters. Steve McQueen serves as a pallbearer at the memorial in Los Angeles. He stands beside James Coburn, Chuck Norris, Dan Inosanto. Men who knew Bruce, men who trained with him, men who understood what the world lost. The service is packed. Hundreds of people, celebrities, martial artists, fans who never met Bruce but felt like they knew him. The weight of collective grief fills the room like fog. McQueen doesn't cry. He's not that type. But something in his face has changed. Hardness, distance. He looks at the casket and remembers the green room, the speed, the lesson. A friend he will never see again. After the service, a reporter approaches him, asks for a comment, a quote, something for the papers. McQueen looks at the reporter for a long moment. He was real, McQueen says. The only real thing I ever saw. He walks away, doesn't look back. Ron attends the memorial, stands in the back, anonymous, invisible. Just another mourner in a crowd of hundreds. He watches Steve McQueen at the front, wonders if McQueen remembers him. Probably not. Ron was just a bodyguard, just a big man who made a mistake. One of dozens who challenged Bruce Lee over the years. One of dozens who learned the same lesson. But Ron remembers. He will always remember. After the service, he walks to his car, sits behind the wheel, thinks about the journey from that green room to this moment. Years, a lifetime. Bruce Lee gave him something that night. Not defeat, not humiliation. Possibility. The possibility of change. The possibility of growth. The possibility of becoming someone other than who he was. Ron starts the car, drives back to Chinatown, back to Master Wong's studio, back to the training floor where he has spent the last 2 years rebuilding himself. He has a class tonight. Beginners, new students, men and women who want to learn what he has learned, not to become fighters, to become better, more aware, more present, more alive. He will teach them what Master Wong taught him, what Bruce Lee taught him without speaking a word. The cup must be emptied before it can be filled. Decades pass. Bruce Lee's legend grows beyond anything he could have imagined. Films, books, documentaries, video games. A cultural icon recognized in every corner of the world. The man becomes myth. The myth becomes immortal. The story of the green room at CBS fades. No records, no photographs, no evidence. Only memories held by men who were there. Men who mostly remain silent. Men who understand that some stories are not for the world. But the truth remains. On a Friday night in 1969, a man learned that everything he believed was wrong. He learned it in 8 seconds. He learned it from someone half his size. And that lesson, painful, humiliating, transformative, became the foundation of a new life. Bruce Lee never knew what he started that night. Never knew that his smallest victory created his greatest student. Not a student of technique, a student of truth. Ron Chapski died in 1998, quietly, peacefully, in his sleep. He taught until the very end.